You're listening to Evita, an AI-generated research briefing avatar trained on the research framework and methodology of Dr. Eva Wolf, marketing professor, AI researcher, and founder of Big Plans Media. Every day, Evita scans emerging research in AI, marketing, consumer behavior, psychographics, and business strategy to identify the most relevant developments, opportunities, and risks worth watching. These daily radar reports are designed to help busy professionals stay informed without having to read hundreds of research papers themselves. And every Friday, join Dr. Eva Wolf live for her personally recorded weekly AI Marketing Radar Roundup, where she breaks down the biggest stories, explains what actually matters, and shares practical insights and strategic implications for marketers, educators, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. Now, here's today's radar report. Here's the signal I can't ignore today. Your B2B marketing team is using AI to write blog posts. Your hotel client's chatbot is flagged as safety aligned. And somewhere, a researcher just proved that both of those things might be giving you a false sense of progress. Today's papers point to the same pattern. AI adoption in marketing is moving faster than our understanding of where it actually works and where it quietly fails us. We screened 361 papers. 3 cleared the full text bar and made the radar. Quick caveat, this is a first pass research briefing, not a final academic review. Every paper covered today has full text access. I'll tell you what the papers suggest, what they don't prove, and which ones deserve a deeper read. Okay, let's get into it. Paper 1. Here's the business question. If you're a B2B marketer and you've rolled out AI tools, are you actually using them where they'd make the most difference? Or are you just using them for the easy stuff? Researchers ran 43 semi-structured interviews with AI leaders and marketing leaders at multinational industrial firms and technology providers. This is a hard population to get on a Zoom. I want you to appreciate that. This data is not easy to collect. Here's what they found. GenAI in B2B marketing is being used heavily for execution, writing content, drafting ads, personalizing messages. Fine. But research and planning, almost nobody is using AI there. That work is still being done by humans without any systematic AI support. And here's the other thing. As AI takes over the execution layer, the marketer's job is shifting. The people who used to write copy now need to brief AI tools, review AI output, and think strategically. The job is changing underneath people who may not know it's changing. That is not a skills gap. That is a structural shift in what a B2B marketing team actually is. But here's the catch. This is a qualitative study, self-reported perceptions from leaders, not hard performance data. Nobody measured whether using AI for planning actually improves results. We don't know that yet. That's the part I keep coming back to. Everyone's assuming execution automation is good enough. Nobody's tested whether moving AI upstream into research and strategy actually moves the needle. Plain English payoff. B2B marketers are using AI for the easy stuff, content, and skipping the hard stuff, research and planning, which is exactly where the competitive gap is opening up. Okay, here's where this becomes commercially interesting. Money move. If you sell to industrial or manufacturing companies, engineering firms, B2B manufacturers, that world, build a GenAI readiness audit specifically for marketing ops. These buyers are behind on AI adoption. They know it, and they don't have a structured process. That's a ready buyer for a packaged diagnostic service. Action step. Before your next campaign review, map your own AI usage across the marketing funnel. Write down where AI is touching execution and where research and planning are still fully manual. That map is your gap analysis. That gap is your opportunity. Evidence check. Qualitative only, multinational industrial firms only. This does not tell us what's happening at mid-market B2B companies or outside industrial sectors. Don't overgeneralize. Radar verdict. Read now. Strong qualitative evidence from a hard-to-access population with a clear and immediately testable insight about where AI adoption is actually concentrated versus where it should be. This is the paper I almost skipped, and I'm glad I didn't, because it looks like a tourism literature review. But there's something in the data that both hospitality and B2B practitioners need to hear. Paper 2. Here's the business question. If you're in travel, hotels, or tourism marketing, what AI tools actually have enough research behind them to bet on? And what are the trust landmines you're probably walking into? Researchers ran a systematic bibliometric review. Fancy way of saying they mapped 22 years of academic research, 320 peer-reviewed papers from 2003 to 2025, and identified what the field has actually studied. Right, here's what the data shows. 4 clusters dominate: digital platforms and tourist behavior, AI tools for online travel sales, tech-driven guest experience in hotels, and AI for demand forecasting. The most studied applications, the ones with the most real-world deployment evidence, are recommendation engines, sentiment analysis of reviews, dynamic pricing, and personalized campaigns. But here's what I want you to hear. Running alongside all of that adoption research is a persistent warning signal. Data privacy, transparency, consumer trust, and the risk that AI makes service feel inhuman. These themes are not fringe concerns. They show up across the literature as unresolved. Not a UX problem, a loyalty problem. Here's the catch. Bibliometric reviews map what researchers have studied, not what actually works. This paper describes the research landscape, not marketing outcomes. No effect sizes, no experiments. It's a map, not a result. 22 years of research, and the trust question is still flagged as unresolved. I'm telling you, that is not a future problem. That is a right now operational risk for anyone deploying AI at customer touchpoints. Plain English payoff. The most research-backed AI tools in hospitality are recommendation engines, sentiment analysis, and dynamic pricing. But every study in the literature flags consumer trust and dehumanization as the thing that breaks it all if you get it wrong. Here's the business hiding inside the research. Money move. Build a sentiment analysis dashboard for hospitality brands, pulling from TripAdvisor, Google, Booking.com, and sell it as a monthly SaaS subscription to hotels and resorts. The research says sentiment analysis is one of the most deployed and most validated tools in this space. That's not a speculative product. That's a proven need with a clear buyer. Action step. If you're adding AI to any customer-facing hospitality touchpoint right now, audit whether there is a clear human escalation path for complaints and booking changes. Not because it's nice to have, because the literature says the moment guests feel like they're talking to a machine on a high-stakes issue, loyalty drops. Add the handoff point before you scale. Evidence check. This is a literature review, not an experiment. It tells us what researchers have studied, not what drives revenue. The full text was also truncated, so some methodological details couldn't be fully verified. Radar verdict. Watch list. Excellent sector orientation for anyone entering or selling into travel and hospitality AI. But it generates no directly testable finding on its own. Use it to get oriented, then go find the primary studies underneath it. Stay with me here. Paper 3 is technically an AI safety paper, but the business implication for anyone building or selling AI marketing tools is bigger than you'd expect. Paper 3. Here's the business question. When a vendor tells you their AI tool is safety aligned, how much does that actually protect you? And what happens when it doesn't? This is a preprint, not yet peer-reviewed. I want to be upfront about that right now. The researchers ran causal intervention experiments on 7 large language models across 2 model families. No prompt tricks, no hacking. They went directly into the model's internals. Here's what they found. There are specific neurons, individual nodes, in the middle layers of these models that control whether the model refuses a harmful request. Turn off one neuron. The model answers dangerous questions it was trained to refuse. Average success rate across 7 models, 91.7%. 91.7%. And it works in reverse. Amplify one neuron and the model starts injecting harmful content into completely normal, innocent conversation with no manipulation of the prompt at all. Now here's where I want to be precise, because this is easy to overstate. This attack requires white box access. You need to get inside the model's weights and activations directly. You cannot do this through a standard API. This is not a consumer product vulnerability right now. But it absolutely is a vulnerability for any company running self-hosted or open weight models. And self-hosted open weight model describes a lot of marketing infrastructure right now. Internal chatbots, content generation tools, customer-facing agents built on open source architectures. Not hype, architecture risk. Here's the catch, and it's a real one. Preprint, not peer-reviewed, 2 model families, and the harmful content injection finding was tested for 1 topic. The researchers themselves say surveying the full space of harmful concepts is future work. Don't treat this as the final word. The safety neurons exist in the model even before safety training is applied, which means safety training isn't building something new, it's tweaking something that was already there. And that makes these neurons findable. That is a structural problem, not an implementation bug. Plain English payoff? Safety aligned on a model card does not mean your AI tool is robustly protected, especially if anyone can download and modify the weights, which is exactly what open source models allow. Okay, here's the monetizable angle. Money move. Build an output layer content safety product, a defense in-depth layer positioned explicitly for AI product teams who now know they can't rely on model internal alignment alone. Target brand safety buyers and AI compliance teams at companies deploying open weight models. This is a product that sells itself, with this paper as the pitch deck. Action step. If your company uses any self-hosted or open source language model, in any marketing tool, chatbot, or content system, ask your AI vendor or IT team one specific question before your next campaign review. Are we monitoring for attempts to manipulate model internals, not just prompt level abuse? If they look confused, you have your answer. Evidence check. Preprint, not peer-reviewed. 2 model families. The attack requires direct access to model weights, not applicable to API-only deployment. Treat this as a strong signal worth watching, not a confirmed vulnerability in your current stack. Radar verdict, watch list. Technically significant and directionally alarming, but it's a preprint. The attack vector is narrow, and most marketing teams won't hit this exposure unless they're self-hosting open weight models. Keep it on your radar. This space is moving fast. At first glance, these papers look separate, but together they show something worth sitting with. All 3 papers are telling us the same thing in different languages. We have adopted AI at the surface layer, and we have not examined what's underneath. B2B marketers are using AI for execution and skipping research and planning, the surface layer. Hospitality brands are deploying recommendation engines and dynamic pricing while ignoring the trust infrastructure underneath, the surface layer. And AI safety teams are shipping aligned models without understanding that the alignment depends on a handful of neurons anyone with model access can flip. Still the surface layer. Not more AI, better foundations. Here's what I keep coming back to. The competitive advantage right now is not in who has the most AI tools deployed. It's in who has actually mapped where the gaps and fragilities are in their own stack, in their own team, in their own go-to-market. That's the work nobody is doing systematically. All 3 papers say so, from 3 completely different angles. The question isn't, are we using AI? The question is, where does our AI actually stop working? And do we know it before something goes wrong? Here's the playbook from today. 1. Map your AI usage across the full marketing funnel, execution, planning, research, and identify every step that's still fully manual. That gap is your competitive opportunity. 2. If you're in hospitality or travel, audit every AI-powered customer touchpoint for a human escalation path before you scale. The literature is clear that trust breaks at the moments you haven't planned for. 3. If your team uses any self-hosted or open weight language model, ask your vendor or IT lead specifically about internal activation monitoring, not just prompt filtering. Do it before your next campaign review. Evidence check on all of that. 2 of today's 3 papers are qualitative or descriptive, no causal data. Paper 3 is a preprint. Use these findings to decide what to test, not what to blindly believe. Links to all 3 papers are in the show notes. Read the originals before making major decisions. Want the human expert take? Join Dr. Eva Wolf every Friday for the AI Marketing Radar Roundup, where she extracts no-nonsense money-making tips, practical strategy, and real business opportunities from the week's research. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. This is Evita for Big Plans Media, and I'll be back in the next Radar Brief.